Hi guys, it's Miss James here. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make scatter plots. We have already created our frequency tables. You can see if you go to your overview, we have made our frequency tables over to the right, and we have completed our graphs, points, and etc. You can already see that if you go back to your scatter plot, this should be already copied over into your scatter plot tab. So in order to start making our scatter plots, you are going to select that little space right there where there's nothing in it underneath the games, and you're going to start by going and highlighting player 1, player 2, player 3. You're going to go all the way down to game 20, and then you're going to go up to the top and you're going to hit insert. We're going to start making scatter plot charts. So scroll down, click chart, and this will pop up. You are going to start by we are going to be making scatter plots. So we need to click, instead of line chart, we need to scroll all the way down until you see scatter with those little dots. You're going to click it. Then we want to make our graph look a little bit prettier, so we're going to go over to customize. You're going to click chart and axis titles. Right now our title text is this long scatter plot games, etc. But we want it to be nice and pretty, and we're talking about points. So we are going to type in points comparison. Then we are going to label our X and our Y's. So first we're horizontal axis. And we are going to label that points. Excuse me. We're going to label it game number. And then we are going to label our vertical axis title points scored. You can see how game number is on the bottom and then points scored is on the left side. Now, the last part that we're going to do to make our graphs a little bit more put together, we are going to click series. And I want you to scroll and hit points player 1. From here, this is a blue, and I want you to hit trend line. This trend line shows you how the player is doing over the season in relation to the points. So this player in particular, for player 1, is gradually getting not so hot, just not as good as it could be. So that is because it's starting at a higher number and then moving all the way down to a lower number. So that means they are progressively getting worse, not as good as they would want. Now I want you to go to player 2. Make sure you hit that trend line again. Looks like player 2 is having the same kind of trend as player 1. I want you to go to player 3 and do the same exact thing. But in this time, looks like player 3 has progressively gotten better over the season. Because you can see at 0, they had about between 20 and 30. And then by the end of the season, or by the end game 20, they have progressively gotten better and up at 30. Now we are all done with our charts. We can exit out of that, make it a little bit smaller. Oops. Make it a little bit smaller and move it over to where it says place your graph below. It'll let me. Awesome. Now we're going to go and we are going to do the same exact thing, but we're going to make it for assists. So go ahead, highlight the blank right below games, highlight all the way over to player 1, player 2, player 3, scroll all the way down, and then click insert, scroll down to chart, chart type needs to be changed to scatter plots. So scroll down, go to scatter plot, Then from here, you're going to click Customize. You need to go to Chart and Axis Titles. But in this case, I started with Type Vertical Axis Title. I want to make sure that says Chart Title to start with. This is where I'm going to go. I'm going to delete all that's in there and change it to Assist Comparison. Once I'm done with the title, I'm going to label my horizontal axis title by clicking that type again. I'm going to scroll down to horizontal, and I'm going to type in game number. After that, I'm going to go and I'm going to label my vertical and type in points scored. Awesome. And now I can't forget about my trend lines. I'm going to go to series. You can go to player 1, player 2, player 3 individually, or you can start at all series and go ahead and select trend lines. You should have a trend line for player 1, which is in blue, player 2 in red, and player 3. In this case, it looks like everyone has progressively gotten better. Go ahead and make it a little bit smaller. If it will let me. Put it all the way over here underneath Place Your Graph. All right, last but not least, we're going to make our chart for rebounds. So go ahead, select underneath games, that little blank space. Highlight player 1, player 2, player 3, all the way down to game 20. Insert chart. Make sure you change your line chart. Scroll down, change it to scatter. Now you need to customize it. Chart and axis titles. Change type to your chart title. Delete what is in there. And we are working with rebounds. So rebounds comparison. Now I'm going to label my X and Y. My horizontal is going to be titled game number. Select that and go to vertical and label this points scored. Last but not least, I'm going to go to series. Make sure I put my trend lines in there. And voila, I've created my last scatter plot. Make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to drag this all the way down here. And there you go. You've made your scatter plots.